record, and you're there. Okay, Dalam and Aleph, in the middle of discussing a incredible Gemara. We have a sukkah that is 20 amos tall. That's basically been the point of discussion for a while now. And you want to machshir it. Oh, God bless you. Thank you so much. You want to machshir it. So, I'll say regular water is fine. Thank you so much. And you want to machshir it. So last week we spoke about building platforms. That was one discussion. And then we spoke about a too short sukkah, digging ditches. And then we ended off last week on the top of Dalet and Aleph with a case. Why my computer screaming at me? What you say? Dalet base. Thank you. With a case that you built a small little platform in the center of your sukkah. Let's start with that case. Haisa Gavaya, Rabbi Islam, it's wonderful to see you. Haisa Gavaya, we're about 6 lines down. Dalid Amid base. Haisa Gavaya me Esrim Amma. If the sukkah is taller than 20 Ammos, Ubana ba Amod Shugavaya Asar Tfachim. And you built a little platform which is 10 Tfachim tall. We know 10 Tfachim as being the minimum size for a sukkah. And this little platform that you built, V'yezhabai Hechsher Sukkah. It itself, Rebelli's here. It itself, Mazel. It's Kilu, you had a kid, because you just made the Kiddush, even though, yeah. V'yezhabai Hechsher Sukkah. Savar Abayah Lemeimar. Good asik mechitzasa. So Abayah thought that in this case, we could say good asik. Good asik means that the walls imaginarily go up. Here's the picture. Let's hope it works. There you go. It's working today. No, there it goes. You see those imaginary walls that are shooting up the sides of your little pillar. This one over here. Savar Abayah lemeimar good asik. That since you have 10 tfachim, then it could extend all the way to the shamayim, and therefore you can have a nace. You can have a sukkah with ostensibly no walls, right? Again, let's get this clear. Let's say we're in a room that the ceiling's 50 feet tall. So in the center of this room, I built a little square platform that's 7 by 7, 10 tefachim tall. So now I put my little table on top and I go and eat something. Someone says, where are your walls? It's not the walls on the sides of my sukkah. Those are irrelevant. Where are the walls? The walls are imaginary walls that extend up the side. Good asik is a halachic concept, halach l'moshe Sinai particularly, that allows walls to extend upwards, pashtus, maybe downwards as well. That's what Abaye said. Comes along Rava, and Rava says, no. Amar le Rava, be'inon mechitzas hanikarois v'leka. You need walls which are recognizable, and it is not. Are we clear on Abaye and Rava? Because if we're not clear, let's ask before we go to the next step. Because let's say it again. Let's say it one more time. Very good. Let's use this picture. Everyone, you're Cooper. You got the picture in your head, right? I'm going to show everyone on this side. You also see it over there. If you don't see it over here, yeah, beautiful. What we have over here is a sukkah 20 amos tall. I'm building this little platform in the middle. This little platform is the size of a sukkah. Now that imaginary, I don't know how you say that thing. You know the thing on the side over there? I don't know. The fake wall. That is the walls of your sukkah. Because you have 10 Because you have 10 tfachim of your pillar, which means the size of a wall, it allows it to extend upwards to shamayim. So we can have a miracle. You're sitting in a sukkah with no walls, and it's kosher, says Abaye. Rava disagrees. Now, let's go to the next case. Next case is going to be a very similar application. Tanu Rabbanan. For this one, you need to see a picture. Whatever, it depends how your brain works. My brain is a visual brain, so...
According to Rava, he wouldn't agree with either.
Very good. Good question. So at the moment, I'm going to explain what you're asking. If Rava's problem is mechitzas nikaros, you have to see the wall. David and Akumi also don't see the wall. Yet, yesterday, last week, and all the Gemaras of Daif and Akufa, Rava didn't argue. So it would seem that in as much as Rava's issue is you have to see the walls, it's a particular issue when the walls are completely invisible. But Daif and Akuma, there is a wall. You're just bending the wall. Rava did not have a problem with that, but it's a good point to mention. Let's go to the next case we're going to read it inside and then we'll show a picture. Tanu Rabbanan. Na'atz is like you dug into the ground. You shoved in. Araba kundesim, 4 pillars into, no, I don't even know why I'm trying. Let's just use a picture. I'm going to use this picture first. I think this picture is easier to see. Again, you click at the computer screen, it'll be a little bit bigger. Rabbi Cooper, I feel bad, you're the only one they can't see. But you'll get it in a moment. Everyone see the picture? You put the 4 pillars on the corners of your roof, and then you put schach on top of it. So now, says the Gemara, Rabbi Yaakov machshir, v'chachamim paislim. Rabbi Yaakov says it's kosher. Why is it kosher? This is the exact application of what we saw a moment ago of Abaya. What did Abaya say? They have a little square. We have imaginary walls that travel up the sides. Says Rabbi Yaakov, the same thing. You have imaginary walls that travel up the side of your house. Look at that beautiful picture. I have to love that picture. I think they did a fabulous job. You see those imaginary walls traveling up the side of the house? Everyone sees it? Yeah, you got it? I don't hear any response. Everyone, yeah? No? Anyone? See over here, which one? This one down here. Imaginary walls traveling up the side of your house. Says Rav Yaakov, it's kosher. Seemingly with a bayo. Says the Chachamim, it's paislim. Explains the Gemara. Omar Rav Huna. Machloikas. Now let's focus in. Says Rav Huna, this machloikas between Rav Yaakov and the Chachamim. A machloikas when we put the 4 pillars, and again, we have no walls. But we have halacha l'moshe mistinei that allows us to extend walls. So just like I would have extended the walls on the pillar in the middle of the sukkah, now I'm extending the walls on the side of the building. Says Rav Huna, a very seemingly simple idea. Machlokes is only al sfas hagag, when the pillars are on the edge of the roof. Why? The Rabbi Yaakov Sava, Rabbi Yaakov holds. Amrinan Gurasik Mechitzasa. We say Gurasik. Meaning, the sides of the house travel upwards. That's the picture that we saw so beautifully over here. The sides of the house travel upwards and create our fake walls to machshir our sukkah. But that's only going to be if the pillars are on the edge of the roof. However, what happens if the Rabbanan Savri, one of the Rabbanan the Rabbanan argue, and they say, Lo yamrinan god asik michi tzatza. Why do we not say good asik? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh v'dorei. Why don't they say good asik? Cause of Rava.
You have walls.
But it's not
Nikaris.
Nikaris. So what you're asking is, let me explain your question. Rabbi Cooper, iPhone 7 in person, a rare occurrence, hopefully it's not a cameo, is asking 1 minute. Over here, maybe this is Nicker. Because here you have the walls on the side of your house. But now let's go back over here. In this case, you also have walls. You have the walls of your sukkah. Just the walls of your sukkah are now what making your walls. Let me say better. Good. Where's the good asik happening? Good, you're right. That's why I said it wrong. I want to say better. Where's the good asik happening? On the pillar, on the floor. How big is the pillar? 10 tfachim. In halacha, 10 tfachim in the world of sukkah is the same thing as 10 feet. These 2 pictures, this pillar of 10 tfachim on this side of the house is the exact same thing. Because 10 tfachim makes a kosher sukkah wall. So you have a wall that's extending upwards. You have a wall in this case that's extending upwards. You have a wall in this case that's extending upwards. It's the exact same case. It's a little bit hard to visualize because one seems like a little pillar on the floor and one is the side of a house. But in the world of good asik, both of them are a 10 tefach wall that we're allowing to stand upwards. So says Abaye, good asik. Says Rava, no good asik because it needs to be nikares, needs to be recognizable. Says Rav Yaakov, good asik. Says the Chachamim, no good asik. Clear?
Are they on the same sides? Or
what do you mean?
Rava and the Rabbanon and Abaya and Rav Yaakov?
That's what it seems. That is what this seems. That is what it would seem. The Pashim Shan of the Gemara is that the Gemara is explaining Rav Yaakov says good asik like Abaya. The Rabbanan do not say good asik like Rava. But again, explains Rav Huna, this machlokes is davka when the pillars are where? Again, let's get this clear. On the corners of the roof, Because then the sides of the house could extend upwards.
The difference between these two cases
Good.
is that this one is just more recognizable.
No, but it's not.
Imaginary walls.
Says in the world of the Gemara right now, this case and this case is exactly the same. Both of them, I have a wall that's extending upward. I have a wall that's extending upward. There is no difference.
But isn't Rav Huna saying that it's...
Rav Huna, wait, we don't know the contrast there. Let's see the contrast, then you understand. Rav Huna is saying the machlokes is when these pillars are on the corners of the house. Aval, let's see the contrast. Aval be'emsa hagag. If the pillars are in the middle of the roof, let's see that picture, Chavra over here. If the pillars are in the middle of the roof, could you say Garasik anymore? Says the Gemara, says Rav Huna, no. At the moment. Now let's get our brains thinking, because obviously there's going to be someone that's about to argue. So the question is how is that going to be? But says Rav Huna, in this case, no Garasik, according to everyone. Why? Because the pillars are not on the side of the wall. Let's just read it inside. Rav Nachman, we'll take your question in 1 second. Avul be'emsa hagag ledivrei hakol psula. Yes, what's your question?
No, it wasn't a question. I was just saying it's as if you had the same case we had before with the stump in the middle of the walls. Let's say it was bigger than 7 by 7, and you had something in the middle of it, or whatever. Let's say it was bigger than 4 by 4.
Yeah, but again, the point is that you don't have walls to extend upwards. Let's get the contrast of these two cases, because in a moment, it's going to get a little bit complicated when Rav Nachman comes along and argues. Says Rav Huna, in this case, when the pillars are in the side of the house, not everyone agrees. Then we have a machlokes if we say Garasik. But in this case, when the pillars are in the middle of the roof, there's no Garasik. Now, let's just understand this, because this is the simple way of learning Garasik. How does Garasik work? Garasik takes a wall and extends it upward. Takes an edge and extends it upward. So if there are pillars on the corners of the roof, we understand very simply, the wall of the house extends upwards. But if the pillars are in the middle of the roof, is there anywhere something to extend upwards or downwards?
No.
Seemingly, no. Says Rav Nachman, and this is going to be the difficult point to understand. Rav Nachman Amar, be'emsa hagag machloikes. Even in the middle of the roof is a machlokes. Even in the middle of the roof, Rabbi Yaakov is going to hold, we say Garasik. How in the world could we say Garasik if the pillars are in the middle of the roof? Could anyone understand it before we look at Rashi? Who'll explain it to us.
Yeah, it goes up and then you say definitely if it's less than 4.
Oh, David Akuma. No, so that's a good point. That would be a nice move. But Lamaisa, those two don't add. You're not allowed to say that. Yes, Menachem? Yeah, that's a very good. David Akuma. That's what Ray Cooper said this. What?
Not Daifin.
No. So what do you want to say?
Was within 3 tefachim from the edge of the...
Good. That would be another way. But the Gemara is not making that differentiation. According to the way the Gemara is saying it is, this could be in the middle of the roof. It could be 8 feet from both sides. There's no Daifin Akuma, there's no lavud, and yet Rav Nachman is explaining that we have the machlokes. So again, to understand what's going on, what did Rav Nachman say? That we have the same machlokes. What's the same machlokes? The Rav Yaakov says Garasik, the Chachamim say no Garasik. How could that be? Let's look at Rashi. Says Rashi, Val Yedei HaKundesim, and via the pillars, Rav Yaakov Machshira. How? Ukegain, Shehein, the pillars themselves are Rechavin Tefach L'chol Tzideim. The pillar is a tefach thick. It's a 2x2? A 4x... No, what are the pillar guys called? No, we have no wood guys here.
4x4, 6x6.
No, it's like a pillar.
6x6, 4x4.
One of those. It's like a pillar. It's like a square. It's not like the thin ones. It's a full thing. So there, it's a tefach by a tefach. Let's continue in Rashi. Di'ika shem mechitzois tefach mitzafain lidarim, from north to south. V'shem mechitzas tefach mimizrach l'mayrev. B'chol echad ve'echad kilkaman. So what we're seeing over here is a fascinating explanation of good asik, and I'm not even sure exactly how to explain it. Yeah.
How's a sukkah kosher with 2.5 walls? If the half a wall, you could always see it's not 2.5. Any half a wall.
Anything
is considered a wall.
No, so maybe that one thing you need a tefach on the last wall.
I know, but it's not 2.5. It's 3 halves.
You're saying it's a full wall. You're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, so the real answer is we're not going to go with this. This is
According to him, that's 3 walls.
correct. You're at, this is a very difficult thing to understand because kod asik simply means that the edge goes up or down. Here there is no edge. It's sort of moving almost sideways, I guess, would be the way to say it, because there's nothing coming down. It's that there's a pillar like this and a pillar like this, so it's somehow gonna have good asik. Before we fully understand it, let's go one job further, because the Gemara now is gonna explain exactly how this works. Ibaylu. The reason why it just could, yeah.
The Rashba is saying that if the pillar is a tefa, it depends on the size of the pillar. That's going to change the whole thing.
Correct. Which Rabavi is pointing out that this is a little bit difficult because the Gemara didn't say that. Rav Nachman just said that even if these 4 pillars are in the middle of the roof, it's the same machlokes. By definition, same machlokes means same machlokes. Means you're not allowed to now make nuances in the case. Rashi is saying, no, it only works if it's a tefach, because if it's not a tefach, you have nothing to start with. So it is difficult. You are correct. Let's see a drop further in the Gemara. So in the Gemara, now, the word ibayiluhu is a funny word here, because ibayiluhu usually means a shayla. Ibayiluhu is introducing a new question. Here, the ibayiluhu is basically just clarifying what Rav Nachman just said, which we don't really have clarity on yet. Says the Gemara ibayiluhu. Be'emsa gag machloikas, avol al sfasa gag l'divrei akol ksheira. How far does Rav Nachman go? Rav Nachman said that they argue in the middle of the sukkah. Is that exclusive or is that inclusive? For those who don't like English, we'll explain. Does that mean that Rav Nachman is saying only in the middle of the roof is this machlekes? But when it's on the edge, no one argues, everyone agrees it's good? Or is he saying it's also a machlekes in the middle? And that's going to be a very big difference. Let's see it together. Be'emsa gag machlekes. And if you're getting a slight headache, this is what happens with Allah Moshe Messina. It is a little bit headache induced. Be'emsa gag machlekes. I'm just talking for personal headache. Be'emsa gag machlekes. Is the machlekes in the middle of the roof? Aval al sfasa gag l'divrei akol ksheira. But everyone would agree if it's on the edge, then of course we say good asik and it's kosher. Oidilma, or maybe bein zu ubein zu machlekes. And the Gemara has the most absolute great answer of Teku. We have no clue. So Rav Nachman is a little bit difficult to understand. We're going to see a little bit more clarity as the Gemara is going to develop itself. But let's get the pieces which are clear so that we could continue. And then this is going to be a Gemara that I hope, Mirz Hashem, when we get to the 2 dots at the bottom of the Amid in a day or two, then when we go back, things will fall into place because it is a little bit complicated. Let's speak outside what just happened to the Gemara, and then we'll read it through. We didn't do that many lines inside, but it's difficult concepts. We started off and we said that if you place 4 pillars on the corners of your house, we have the same machlokes and Abaye and Rava if we say good asik. Abaye says yes, Rav Yaakov says yes. Rava says no, Rabbanan say no. What's the machlokes? Do we say good asik to the sides of the house extend, just like in the case of the pillar in the middle of the sukkah? The Gemara then continued and said, Rav Nachman says, even if this 4-pillared structure is in the middle of the roof, we have the same machlekes. How is that possible? It's very difficult to understand. Rashi said, one nuance to understand it is that the pillars are a tefach, and because each one is a tefach, Rashi taught us it has a shem mechitza, it has the name of a partition of a wall at some level, and then it can allow good asik to apply. Obviously, the difficulty is, but they're vertical, and good asik only works horizontal. It is a good question. In Mirz Hashem, we're going to see a little bit more as the Gemara continues, and we're really going to open up our eyes where, these halach l'Moshe Misinai, how wild, I think is the right word, how wild it goes. But for now, let's try to read through these last 5-6 lines, and then tomorrow night in Mirz Hashem we'll be able to build upon it. B'siyata d'shmaya.